Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 VC review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at TurboGrafx 16 Super CD game. It's been a while since I've done one because they very rarely come out, and because if I'm honest, I wasn't contemplating buying this game up until I found out there's pretty much going to be no more VC games released for the Wii U on the Wii Shop. May sound strange because for anyone who knows my videos knows I absolutely love the Castlevania series, but it's because I already have this game on the PSP with the Dracula X Chronicles, and it was just one of those I decided, you know what, I'll get it so I can play it on a big screen again. For those who don't know though, this game is Akumajou Dracula X Rondo, which probably isn't how you pronounce it, and it's also known as Castlevania Rondo of Blood. It's famous for being a Japanese game that has an opening sequence done entirely in German. It's certainly odd to say the least. Anyway, at the start you create your file. When you go into your file, it's totally different to like how Castlevania 4 does itself in the menus, because it makes it more of a, well, not so much a linear A to B game where you have to play it all in one go, and it's something that I really like. And it's just a shame that after this I don't really think many 2D Vanias in this style got made, so it's a bit of a shame that I think they hit the perfect formula and then didn't really capitalise on it. Having said that, gameplay wise I still don't think this is up there with Castlevania 4, which is my favourite of the side scrollers. But anyway, you've got game start, you've got player select because there's Richter and Maria. You've got stage select because you can replay any of the stages you've unlocked and you can see where there's hidden stages, and it's one of the cool things about the game. It's one of the things that when I got it on the PSP, I pretty much was adamant that I was going to find every single stage and then beat every single stage with each of the characters because they play totally different to each other. And it's one of those that I must have beat it about 50 times on the PSP, and I'm currently on my first playthrough on the TurboGrafx version. Well, I say a first playthrough, the fact that you get the TurboGrafx version as well as the remade version on the PSP, it's probably about my 19th playthrough of the TurboGrafx version. Either way though, it's my first playthrough on this system. For those who don't know, Castlevania is a absolutely rock hard title with beautiful graphics, at least for its time, and I still think when it comes to 2D games, the Vania games do it better than anyone else. And musically, as far as I'm concerned, there is no better music in the whole of gaming. You go left to right, right to left, jump up and down, traversing areas, trying not to die, which is easier said than done, especially when you're currently looking through a lens talking to, well, the internet, I suppose would be the right way to put it. You've got an energy bar in the left, you've then to the right of that got a little number, which is how many hearts you've got. The hearts power your secondary weapons, which you can throw them as a regular weapon, or you can perform a super special with them. So, for example, as you can see there, it cost me 10 hearts to throw about 1,000 knives instead of just throwing 3 for 1. Things like axes will spin round, you've got holy water will cast down rain. It's just one of those things. There's loads of different items. There's crosses, which as far as I'm concerned are my favourite weapon. There's a key, which isn't actually a weapon, it's used for a secret, so I won't tell you what to do with it, but you should be finding it pretty early on. You've then got different items with Maria, but I'll cover that when I play as her. Even if I don't mention it, I'll show Maria off when I do the music section, so you can see a couple of her different items, because she's got like birds and cats and that. You've then got your score to the right of that, and if you hit start you can see your credits and your lives and that. And well, the whole point is, once you traverse your way through these nightmarishly difficult levels, you get to the end, you get the boss, you fight and kill the boss, you go on to the next one. But as I've said before, earlier on, there's multiple areas to some stages, so you'll get like 2 stage 2s, 2 stage 3s and that. And it's one of those, finding all of the areas can take a little bit of patience, because it really does mean you have to totally traverse every area, because there's hidden walls that can smash apart with your whip and that. And it's just one of those things. As far as I'm concerned, it is one of the greatest games I've ever played. It is one of the best Castlevania games. It's, as far as I'm concerned, second to Vania 4 in the Vanias done of this style. I say this style for those who don't know, who are only just getting into Castlevania, which shame on you. I joke, but it is my favourite franchise, so I'm a little overprotective of it at times, and I think it's the sort of thing that everyone should try at least one of. There's this style, and then there's an RPG style, which is very similar to this, except you level up and you get loads of different weapons. You're not stuck with just a whip all the way through, or in Maria's case, birds. You can get swords and all sorts of things, and as far as I'm concerned, Dawn of Sorrow is my favourite of those, which I know is going against the grain because a lot of people say Symphony of the Night, which is the game that actually follows this, as the start of Symphony of the Night is the end of this game. And I know a lot of people say that's the greatest of the RPGs, but it's all personal preference. Anyway, I've had enough of dying whilst trying to talk, so I'm going to cut to some music whilst playing as Maria on a different stage. So that was a little bit of the music. Hopefully you like it as much as I do. As I say, I do think, as far as music is concerned, when it comes to video games, Castlevania probably is the highest standard. I mean, I absolutely love it. Anyway, you've probably seen us use a couple of things, like you've seen us use the psychotic cat that becomes a massive tiger when you use its super mode for, I believe, 20 hearts. You've probably also noticed that I can throw 2 doves with Maria at any one time, because that's one of her things. She can also do a double jump, which you might think playing as her makes the game a hell of a lot easier, but there are some stages where I think it's a hell of a lot harder to play as her, and that's why I wanted to go through the entire game as both characters, so that way I could force myself to, well, basically have the challenge, because when it comes to attacks, I think it's probably easier to use Richter because he's got better side weapons as far as I'm concerned, but when it comes to the platforming sections, Maria's definitely the better of the two, so it is nice to have the 2 contrasting characters instead of 2 that play pretty much identical to each other. There's nothing else I can really say other than for 900 points, which as far as I'm concerned is a tiny sum for the amount of gameplay you're going to be getting, then you can do very little better when it comes to the VC. I mean, I can only really think of titles like your Ocarina of Times, Castlevania 4 obviously, because as I've already said, as far as I'm concerned it is my favourite of them, Chrono Trigger, things like that. It's just, as far as I'm concerned, this is one of the cream of the crop when it comes to VC games. It's a shame that it took as long to come out as it did, but it is an absolutely fantastic title that it's well worth taking a look. And I'm aware that the game hasn't only just came out, which is probably weird that I'm saying it as it's taken as long as it did, but I am still aware that it was about 4 years into the VC before this was released, and if it wasn't for the fact that I had it on the PSP and didn't have the points to spare, then this review would have happened for you about 18 months ago, I suppose. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.